The catch is that you should clear it in the first attempt. Then you will actually save more money. In this exam, they actually do an X-ray of your chest, and also they take some blood samples, urine samples. Hello, beautiful people out there. Welcome back to my channel, Rami Stories. Today it's going to be a different video. Last time I have covered what are my expenses out here in Canada for the month of June. So today this is also going to be a finance video. Like I'm going to tell you guys what is the cost of my PR, basically like how much I have to spend in total. So let me just take you guys into my screen and then show you guys in detail what are the expenses I have been to incur and what you must do in order to save some of your money. Okay, let's go right into my screen. Then this is actually called as Federal Skilled Workers Program. In to apply for a PR visa, there are like 4 types of visas called as FSW Federal Skilled Workers Program, CEC Canadian Experience Class, PNP Provincial Nominee Program, and then FST Federal Skill Trade Program. So right now I don't want to talk about the other 3 programs because I came with this FSW program, which is a kind of like large scale program where people from other countries can apply for a PR and then get it basically. I'm going to tell you guys how much money I have to spend to get my Canada PR visa. So here it is, guys. The first thing that happened to incur was your IELTS exam, because this is the first and most important thing you need to clear or get a high score in order to actually create a profile in the portal. Basically, they have this immigration portal called as express entry system, where you need to just register yourself. In order to get registered, you need to have 2 things mainly. One is an IELTS exam, second is a WES report, which is called as World Education Services. So yeah, okay, let's talk about WES next. But first, you need to write this IELTS exam. IELTS exam is basically, you'll be having 4 modules: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Each of it has got like 9 bands in total, and then you need to score pretty high. Like basically in listening, you have to score a total of 8 for 9. Reading, writing, and speaking, for all these 3, you have to score at least a band of like 7. Okay, so that's the scenario. If you have to write an IELTS exam, you have to score pretty high. For myself, I wrote it only once, but my spouse wrote it like a couple of times because he wanted to score a little higher score. So total cost for us was around 40,000, but individually, if you have to give it for yourself, it is going to be 13,500. The catch is that you should clear it in the first attempt. Then you will actually save more money. And also you don't want to go for training, because you can actually learn it on your own. There are like a lot of YouTube videos, and you can also find a lot of materials online. Well, you are like very new and you don't have time to actually do self study, then you can take some help. I can get some training. Training doesn't cost you much, also around like 5 to 10,000. You'll get a pretty good training. If at all you need one-on-one training, it might be a little expensive. Like they might charge you like 15,000 or so. Still, it's worth it basically, because you have to score that magic number. 8,777 is what they say. That you need to score like in each of the bands. Like listening 8, reading, writing, and speaking, you need to score at least a band of 7 basically. So that's what it is. Maybe I can also do one more video in detail what this IELTS exam is, like what are the bands and how to score the actual band, like how I was able to clear it in first attempt basically. So yeah, so the cost 13,500. The next is the WES report, where it's like basically it's called as World Education Services. Like they actually give you a equivalency. For example, I have my degrees based out of India. To get some equivalency, right? So there should be somebody who says, okay, this guy has a master's degree. What is it equivalent to? Canadian degree. So this is the board approved by Canada's immigration system, who can give this equivalency certificate basically. So what we need to do is that we need to get all our transcripts. We need to request a university to send the transcripts directly to this WES. And then WES, they give you a tracking number once you pay these fees. So you just need to put the tracking number on top of this envelope of your transcripts. Like you don't need to do it, because universities should do it by themselves basically, because that proves that authenticity that it's been directly sent from the university. It's a process basically where you need to get you need to request for transcripts to the university, and the university will send it directly to the WES body basically based out of Canada. So these guys evaluate it further, check out transcripts, and then they give you a report basically. They give you a 2-page report which says, okay, fine, this guy's master's degree is equivalent to a master's degree in Canada, or this guy's master's degree is only equivalent to PG diploma basically. So what happens is, in my case, since I have an MTech degree in India, they give a master's equivalency. So WES, most of the time, if you have an MBA or MCA or any other masters other than MTech, they're only giving it as like a PG diploma or like 1-year degree program basically. So that's like actually not a good thing, because if you have a master's, you'll score high, you'll have more points. If you have a PG diploma, then it will not have more points basically. They will consider it just like a additional certificate. For me, there are only 2 degrees, right? Masters and bachelors. To go to your university and then request them and to send it to them, and they might charge you some fees for the transcripts. in which was for me it's like around 5,500. So I would say if you as an individual should have to do this, it will be around 21,000. Yeah, maybe it might be a little higher also, but still, in my case, it was around 21,000 because application fees itself is cost you like around 15,000. Now it might have changed because this is all like 2 years back numbers. It may be 5-10% might be a difference. So let's move on to proof of funds. For me, it's actually a family of three: myself, my wife, and then my daughter. So for three people, you need to show some proof of funds basically. Since you are coming from outside of Canada, this money you are not going to pay to anybody. I just happen to add this because you might need this. You need to showcase that you have some money. Although this might be useful for you once you come to Canada basically, like initial settlement until you get a job here and things like that. So this is what you need to show. And there is like a little bit of a process. We need to go to a bank, request them to give you a letter that you have this much of funds. And then you also need to showcase that this is your monthly balance for the last 6 months. And then you need to get this letter signed by bank manager or any of the bank official. So yeah, you need to get that letter. So but still the money for me is around 12 lakhs. But for one person, single person, it will be around like 7-8 lakhs, I think, because it's kind of like changing every year. But I would say like my friend came here as an individual, like he's a single person. It was like around 8 lakhs, I believe, which he happened to put up, like which is the minimum funds you need to showcase. For me, it's around like 12 lakhs. It might have varied a bit. It might have slightly increased because of the fluctuations in the Indian rupee and also in Canadian dollar. So around 12 lakhs should be your ideal amount to showcase as your proof of funds. Next is this passport. Passport, you need to attach your wife name because when you get married, in my case, when I was applying for this PCC mainly, PCC is called as police clearance certificate. You know, to get that PCC, you need to have your spouse's name on the backside of your passport. Basically, you have this family name or parents name, right, for the name, mother name, and then you also have spouse's name. So if at all you got married after your passport was given to you initially, then you need to change your passport. You need to add your spouse name and then get your new passport. This is kind of a mandatory step, otherwise they won't give you the PCC certificate, which is required in the next step. So I did this basically. This is like an additional expense, although it's like 1,500 rupees you pay, and then we both happen to do the same, so it's like cost us like around 3,000 basically. Next is the police clearance certificate. Once you add your spouse's name and then get a new passport, then you can go and apply for the police clearance certificate. You can apply this in actually a passport seva kendra. It's just actually 500 rupees where you just have to pay online and then get an appointment. And then get it done. So we have like two people. We got it for both the people. And then for kids, it's not required. Below 18 years, you don't need a PCC. Next is a medical exam. In this exam, they actually do an X-ray of your chest, and also they direct some blood samples, urine samples. They check your physical as well. They ask you to remove your t-shirt, and then they check your heartbeat and other things as well. So that's the basic medical exam. That's like around 5,500 for adult and 1,500 for the kid. Basically, we spend around 13,500 for this medical exam. Although your medical is valid only for 1 year, in case your visa is not approved or it's taking longer than 1 year, they can even ask you to give remedicals. So in my case, it happened for me. Like I happened to spend twice because it took a long time. It took more than a year. So we have to go and then get our medicals done again. So actually, my cost is around 27,000. I think I should change it basically. Well, that's okay if you are applying for the first time. Now the process are changing and then you can get it done quickly. Next is the big chunk basically. So this is the big chunk of money goes away from your pocket for this visa processing, right? So this is the big fund. This is the big deal. So for me, it's around like 75,000. For kids, it's actually a little less. So it's only 30,000. So total amount is around 1,80,000 for three people basically. Myself, my wife, and my daughter. If you are a single person, 75,000 would be the amount. This is actually for the visa processing, right? You have to get your visa, and then they will process it. In order to do that processing, they will charge this money, right? This is one of the important steps. And then so here it is. So this is the total expense. So this is the money I happen to spend. Maybe a little higher, maybe like 50,000 or 1 lakh, maybe higher, because I would have not considered medical exam doing twice. You can already mentioned it. And also I have spent more money to travel also, like to get this PCC and also to get my passport changed, like a lot of things, right? There are like maybe a lakh or maybe more than a lakh of miscellaneous expenses. I would say around like $1,500 or $2,000 of miscellaneous expenses. But to give you a rough number, how much I happen to spend or how much money I need, so this is what it is. You might need at least like 15 lakhs. Out of which 12 lakhs is actually your money. You don't need to give it to anybody. Visa fees is always your fees, and then you need to crack your IELTS exam. This is always once. And then people I know, like instead of going for West, they also go for different bodies, because there are other bodies like IQAS and then CES. So these are also like bodies similar to World Education Services, who are actually give you equivalency certificates. Basically, some institutes give you master's degree for your MBA or MCA also. So they people go for that. But those guys, those bodies take a little longer time. West is kind of very fast. It just takes like 4 to 6 weeks nowadays with the online system. Got my master's degree evaluated in like weeks time, basically just a week. So that's like a pretty big deal, you know. It always takes like 6 to 7 weeks of time, because you need to send your hard copies to them. They will review all the papers and things like that. When somebody sends it online, it's already been authenticated, right? Authenticated, so transcripts being sent from university to West. So it takes very short amount of time for them to evaluate and then give you your equivalency. So in my case for masters, I got it in a week's time. It would have been much higher than this. The two good things which happened to me was that I was able to clear my IELTS exam without any training, because I could learn myself. I have watched like a lot of YouTube videos. I happened to download a lot of free materials and I have to practice online. So what I did was, like, you know, I used to get the printouts of all the test papers and to prepare it with, because I wrote it on paper instead of writing it online, because I find it more comfortable. So that's why it saved my money basically, because I was able to clear it in first attempt. And then next would be your visa fees, right? Because if somebody is processing your visa, if you give control to somebody, it's like basically there are like a lot of consultancies, tons of consultancies who charge you like basically from 50,000 to 2 lakh rupees to do this Canada PR processing basically. So generally what they do is that they create your profile, they will guide you what to do step by step, and then, you know, they charge this money basically. So I was able to save that 1 to 2 lakhs of money there as well, instead of paying to consultancy. I did it on my own. It's actually a very tedious process. It's not at all easy because to get all the documents arranged, and if at all you have some sort of, like, you know, things you need to say to the immigration officer, you have to write a letter of explanation basically. In my case, what happened was I was not able to have the proof of funds. So my mom happened to give me a gift deed. So I happened to write a big letter saying that, you know, this is what happened. My mom actually gave money from her own funds, and then happened to put it forward. And then one other thing was that, you know, my spouse's name has got no last name basically. She only has her first name. So but in her best report there is like first name and last name. So that one name got separated into two parts. So again need to write a letter, write a letter of explanation, and also get some affidavit with the same name basically. You know, it's like tons of details. It should be very detailed. Then only your file will get processed very quickly. It took actually a lot of time. It's actually not so easy. I want to make immigration officer's life easy and my life easy, but, you know, he can evaluate my file properly, and then he knows everything beforehand basically. So what happens is, if they got any sort of a doubt, or if they are not clear with anything, they will give you an ADR request. ADR is nothing but additional document request basically. So that if it comes out, then it's again like, it will drag your processing time. You know, it will take tons of time. You again need to send it to them. You need to prepare some documents, and it back to them. They will again take more time to process, like kind of a time taking process. If you can get it done in the first instance, that's a big deal. Actually, I happened to apply for a GCMS notes, and then it got cleared. You know, I got cleared a long time back. $25,000 I would take, you know, if you can do it at once in single instance, and that is what you must need to have to apply for a Canadian PR. So that's my expense to get this Canadian PR. I hope you liked my video. If you guys have any questions, queries, please feel free to comment. You can also reach out to me if you guys need any guidance or help to apply for this Canadian PR. I could give you guys my bit of knowledge. And one more disclaimer I want to put forward. This is just like rough estimates. It's not like exact numbers. This is from my knowledge. You might actually spend more than this or less than this, but still it will be around this. Okay, this is not like the exact ballpark number, you know what I'm saying. So you might need to spend like in around like 5%, 10% around this money basically. Okay, so that's all for this expense video. I hope you like my video, and then I'm going to do more such videos if you guys want it. And also I have plans to go out today, so keep waiting for one more vlog, maybe tomorrow. So until then, see you next time. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Bye.